The reason I'm producing this little video is because I want to have a little discussion about the proper techniques to producing a discussion. What's the best way to approach putting together a discussion? You are graphic designers, and what we need to start doing as graphic designers, and we need to do this in everything that we do, is we should consider ourselves graphic designers and we should behave like graphic designers. So what I'm going to do is walk through the steps that I think make the most sense for a discussion post and how to organize a discussion post in a way that impresses the instructor, and also demonstrate the fact that you are a graphic designer and you're thinking and behaving like one. So I'm going to start off by just looking at a very simple discussion post. It's not an elaborate one, very simple. First thing that I've done here is I've produced what I would consider a header. And in the header, I've named my discussion post. That's the title of my discussion post. I've included the course description, which is DES 244 packaging, and I put, in this case, Bill Sweeney, because I'm the instructor. But what you would normally put is you would put instructor Bill Sweeney, because you don't need to name it because your name appears up here. Okay, but since I'm the producer of this myself, I put by Bill Sweeney as opposed to instructor Bill Sweeney. I'm going to redo this to show you how I go through the process of doing this to make sure that you're crystal clear on how this gets done. And then hopefully you'll start doing it this way, not just for me, but for all of your courses. I mean, again, the reason I'm doing this is because I want you to start thinking like a graphic designer. I want you to start behaving like a graphic designer. I want you to start designing things. Put your design skill and your ability to work no matter what you do. If you start doing this, you'll find that your skills as a designer will improve because you'll be using them everywhere you go, whatever you do, all right? So that's what I would do for my header. I would also include an image of some kind, even if an image isn't called for, because as a graphic designer, you work with type, color, texture, images. And when you're producing a piece like this, it visually, there's always some kind of image that you can incorporate into your design to support some process or some part of your article. So I went out and I found an image of a sketch to used for my visual, because it wasn't specifically requested that I need an image. So I, again, found something that I thought visually would work within the context of the article that I was writing. And moving down, I want to next talk about citation. If you notice what I did here, I've kept my citation separate from my thoughts. So this role will vary depending upon the end product being created, the size and scope, blah, blah, blah. That's me speaking. My citation is here. When I suggest sketching as a visual thinking tool, I often hear, I'm not an artist, or I can't draw. And it goes on and on and on. And as you can see at the end here, I've given the credit to Road 2011, which is where I got this clippet of information to include to support my article. Also, notice that I've colored it and I've indented it and I've kept it separate so that it stands out in bold contrast from the rest of the article, making it absolutely clear that this is not my thought. This is a thought I am calling upon to support my article. All right, now from that point down, there's just a couple of more paragraphs of me speaking. Again, as I say, this is a very simple article. And one thing that I always do that I think you all ought to do, because we are having a discussion about this, is you also should include at the end some sort of a teaser, some sort of a draw-in. And what I do usually is, what do you think about this topic, or what is your opinion? I always add something, even if it's as simple as that, just add it there so that the person who's reading it has more of a motivation to reply to you. And it also suits the overall form of this discussion. And then, of course, down here is my referencing. Okay, so I'm going to move on to this, and I'm going to do this again, all right, and show you exactly how I handle this, so that you've seen me explain what I'm looking for here, and I'm going to demonstrate how I go about doing it. So now I'm going to move into, I'm basically, getting ready to do this post over again. I'm going to move back into Word. And what I've done literally is I've written this entire piece in Word, okay? So there are a number of reasons that this makes sense. First of all, I can write it in Word. I can check the number, the amount of copy I have on it, the number of words that I've come up with, which is, in this case, 247 words, which I believe suits the amount of copy that's required for this particular post. But I know this now because it's actually done in Word, and it shows me right here that I have that many words. And I can also go into Review, check spelling, and I can run through the process of a spell check. Now, see, there's something that is telling me it's incorrect here. This should be an uppercase the. Now, if the actual book had a lowercase the, I could ignore that, or I could choose to change it to a capital T. I'm going to do that. All right, so now I've got this, and I get told that the spell checking and grammar checking is complete. I hit OK. So basically, that now is a complete article that I've written. I went online and I found this clip here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you one more thing before I actually build this, and that is I'm going to add one more citation here so that I can show you the process. So I have my cursor placed right here is where I'm going to be putting this citation. You can see I've actually broken the line here, okay? And I'm going to go into my browser, and I did a search, a Google search, and I came up with this article, The Role of Sketching in the Design Process, okay? And this article has everything I need to create a citation and to properly, cite it. So I've actually scrolled through this, and there are a lot of really good things I could grab out of here. But I thought, just to make it easy, I'm going to go down to the very end where it says, where are we at here? Conclusion. Some of the best ideas start with a sketch. Sketching is a powerful process to use because it always helps discover the best ideas and solution for a design problem. It's a difficult task to freestyle a complex design out of midair without hashing out the details. This is why sketching will remain an important step in the design and development process. So that's what I'm going to use for my citation. So I'm going to just select this, all right, and I'm going to use my mouse with the right click, and I'm going to copy it, all right? And then I'm going to go back into my discussion, and with my cursor placed where I want it, I'm going to go Control V, and evidently it didn't copy it. Control V, yeah, there we go. Nope, got it. Okay, so there it is. The only thing is I see there's a little bit of a problem with a space issue there, so I'm going to fix that. I don't think I need this to be bold. I'm not exactly, well, actually, I'm going to leave it bold because that's what they have here in the citation. So yeah, I will leave that alone. All right, so I have my little citation here. Now I'm going to place my cursor at the end of this citation, and I'm going to go to the reference panel. And again, I don't know whether you use this or not, but the reason that I am using this is because it is so easy to do this that I want to show you how you can pretty much guarantee yourself the proper citation without any sweat whatsoever. So I got this guy moved over to where I can get access to it, and I'm going to go into my site here, where my page where I'm using this for citing, and I'm going to come up here, all right, and I'm going to get the information on my author right there, and then I'm going to go into Word again, all right, and I'm in the reference panel, and I'm going to insert a citation, and it's going to be a new source. Now, it's a new source in my case because I've already cited somebody, and I have a reference right down here, okay? So I'm just going to add a new source, and I get my panel that'll come up, And what this is basically it's an article. You see, it's not a book. It's not a book section. Article and periodical, conference preceding a report. I'm just going to call it a journal article. It's not exactly a journal article. It's a blog, but they don't give you a blog here. So I'll use journal article in this case, and I'm okay with that. I'm then going to move this over so I can get access to it a little bit better. And I'm going to put in the author, which right here is Kevin Tufts. Kevin Tufts, and the title is The Role of Sketching in the Design Process, and I don't think I can get this, yeah, see, because it's a graphic, so I can't really get that, which means essentially I'm going to have to type it in. So bear with me. Okay, the role of sketching in the design process. The journal name in this case is, it's a blog and it's DNN. So I'm just going to type in for the journal name DNN. DNN. And then if you look over here, you have a date of 1/7/2014. So in here, they just ask for the year. You give it 20. Whoops, I'm having a bad time typing this morning. All right, so 2014. Number of pages is 1. I don't even put the number of pages in, and I have no problem if you don't put the number of pages in it, because this is a blog and it runs down. So really, type of article or type of source, a journal. The only reason I do that is it doesn't have blog. Maybe one day what they'll do is they'll add blog to this, and then you can use blog. But the perfectly fine journal article, I have no problem with that. I do it all the time. The author is right on the page, okay? Right on the page. And the title, of course, is the title. And then the usually up in the upper left-hand corner, you're going to find who the journal, who is the one that's producing this particular article. And then, of course, you're adding your year, and you hit OK. And what you get is this, Tufts 2014. Really simple, okay? And as you can see, my citation has been isolated from the rest of my copy, so I can actually go in when I get it into my blog, and I can format it the way I want, and it's going to look really good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to bibliography, and I'm going to reference this, okay? And my reference didn't come up. Tufts. Let's see what happened here. I lost my reference to my first one. So let me go back. Let me go back out and let me copy this. Okay, because it looks like I'm going to lose it. So let me copy it and then go into bibliography and reference it. Yeah, there we go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this, delete that, and Control V, paste it and delete it. And then I'm just going to format this a little bit differently. And now I've updated my reference. Now, if you were, this happened to me because this was previously referenced, and for some reason it just decided it wasn't going to update that particular reference. If you're doing this at the same time, you won't have this problem if you use more than one reference. A lot of times you'll only use one reference anyway, so it's not a big deal. But you generally get the idea there. This is how I would go about doing this. All right. So now I have this all done, and I've spell checked everything. I have all the elements that I need right here to do it. I would look up and find myself a picture. I've already done that. And again, to find a picture, you just Google some sort of idea, like for instance, how to visuals, or how to use sketching in graphic design, and what will happen is you'll come up with, or sketching, just look up sketching, and images of sketching will come up as a Google search. All right. So anyway, now that I've got this done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my discussion, and with my copy here, I'm going to go down and scroll and get the entire thing. All right. Or hit Command A or Control A and copy it. And then I'm just going to paste this in, Control V. Paste this in, and there we have it. It's all in there. Now, what I would do to finish this off is this is already a little bit bolder and a little bit bigger. The only thing that I would do with this, and notice that I've changed it from by Bill Sweeney to instructor Bill Sweeney. So this is what your headline should look like. Remember what I told you, as graphic designers, we deal with type, we deal with imagery, we deal with color, we deal with texture. So what I would do to make this even better is I would do a little bit of formatting on this just to make it look better. And how I would do that is I'd simply start off by selecting my title. And I would come up into my text color, and I always choose the red. You don't have to choose the red, but I choose the red because I think it's visual. And then what I do is I come down and I look for my first citation, which is right here. And what I do with my citations generally is, yeah, here we go. I generally start off by italicizing it. And then what I do is I indent it slightly like that. And I also usually add color to it. And what I end up with is I end up with this. So this is absolutely stand out, crystal clear that that is a citation. And that, to me, makes for a very, very nice presentation. So I'm going to scroll down, and I'm going to do the same thing to this guy right here. I'm going to text color it so it's red, italicize it so that it's, you know, formatted, and then I'm going to indent it. And now if you look at this, I basically have my overall discussion right here. Very simple discussion. Now there's one final thing remaining, and that is I have an image that I want to put in, and I will deal with that in the next video.